to join you in celebrating Pastor Dan Sturdivant's ministry with us. Larry Henderson was originally tapped to MC this event, but regretfully, he had to drop out due to COVID sheltering concerns. That said, he did assist in putting a script together, which relieves me of my responsibility should I bomb. So here I am, speaking to an empty sanctuary. Actually, had I really thought about this, I'd have asked Linda to include an applause track to encourage me. Thank you, sir. Methodism has an interesting way of seating churches with pastors. The bishop, with the help of the district superintendent, assesses the needs and concerns of the various churches in the conference and then matches the particular gifts of pastors with those churches. And thus, often abruptly and even gut-wrenchingly, comes the time when a beloved pastor is moved on. And so it is with Dan. Today, we celebrate having been a part of this amazing man's faith journey, if only for 2 years. Born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas, Dan was a Methodist from the get-go. Subsequent to attending and graduating from prep school, he entered the University of Colorado, where he majored in English and theater, which put him on the road to Hollywood, where he did some Shakespearean theater. And who wasn't glued to the television December 7th, 1989 to watch episode 1678 of The Bold and the Beautiful, where Dan played a bartender at the Café Russe. And there was even a stint in a feature film with Val Kilmer, where he starred as an airport ticket agent. And who can forget Dan in an episode of The New Mike Hammer, where he endeared himself to us as cop number 2. I'm really wondering where Larry Henderson got all this stuff. Not a lot of pastors have demonstrated Dan's acting chops. Dan was never a recipient of an Emmy or an Oscar, or even nominated. He has no star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But something was missing in his life. Dan escaped the clutches of almost celebrity, and in 1995 found himself at Pacific School of Religion, along with another future SRV UMC alum, Allison Berry. Dan loved religion and nurtured that love to a master's degree, followed by a 6-month internship at First United Methodist Church in Montclair. Dan's next assignment was as associate pastor with Ron Dunn at Asbury UMC. While in charge of the youth group and desirous of increasing its membership, Dan pledged that if the group grew to 18 students every Sunday, he would let the kids shave his head. I haven't seen pictures of the predictable result, but a parent gave Dan a hat to cover the damage. Apparently, the Yulebrenner look was not his style. After Maria's daughter overnighted with the daughter of an Asbury member, Maria visited Asbury Church and met Dan. As Dan's relationship with Asbury blossomed, so too did his relationship with Maria. And yet, Asbury was but a stepping stone in Dan's journey to his first senior pastorate at Byron UMC. Maria followed Dan to Byron, and they were married in 2002 by Lillian Baker Holloman. Pastor Dan really came into his own at Byron, with special gifts in one-on-one ministry and an affinity for children. He found his calling. He did manage to gross out a preschool group of kids when he told the story of Jesus washing his disciples' feet, and then offered to wash the preschool kids' feet. Dan would play Stump the Pastor game, in which kids would put an object in a box, like a paperclip, keychain, etc., and Dan would preach on how that item speaks to God. That is a form of improv, and it's not as easy as it seems. And so, in 2018, Dan's ministry came to SRV UMC. His preaching was delivered in a homey style in which he framed biblical teachings in a way that seemed more relevant to contemporary times. And wow, could he tell a story. He could turn a 6-line Bible verse into a 20-minute sermon. He could laugh at himself, giving us and him a lot to laugh about. I'll always remember his pastoral prayers and how he began by sighing and maybe waiting 30 seconds. My first reaction was to think, hurry up, get on with it. Then it occurred to me that this time of preparation could also be my time. And when Dan wasn't in the pulpit, he was everywhere man. He was a welcomed addition and fit right in at the fall men's retreat at Rancho Horace and Peggy. And he put his Hollywood background to work while keeping a straight face during a silly skit at Grill and Chill. And so Dan's ministry has manifested itself in so many different ways. But enough from me for the moment. Let's listen in on some others as they share their Dan impressions.
Hi, Dan. There are a lot of great things that I could say about your ministry here at our church, but I've been asked to speak to your sermons, your messages from the pulpit, so I'll stick to that. The first time I heard you preach, we were in Wesley Center, and I can't remember why the service was held over there, but no matter. I remember what you said. You talked about God not orchestrating our lives' sorrows and pains. No, you said that God weeps with us and God comforts us and God gives us the strength to go on. You expressed it so well. And when you were finished speaking, the congregation applauded. It was a powerful moment. On successive Sundays, I heard discussions of our relationship with the divine. You don't mince words, Dan. Thank you for that. It woke me up to listen to new ways to look at things that we've thought about 1,000 times before. And then you never fail to comfort us with the reassurance that God's love is out there, whether we feel it or not. Your messages resonate with Jeff and I, and they will continue to resonate with the rest of our church after you've moved on. You've made a difference for us. Thank you. We will miss you. And I wish all the best new adventures to you and Maria.
Dan, I'm here to thank you on behalf of our Wednesday morning men's caregiver group, and really on behalf of all small group participants, counselors, and caregivers that have benefited from your ministry. You've been a real blessing in scheduling, monitoring, and facilitating our monthly get-togethers. The way you got all of the attendees involved in our discussions went a long way toward helping us to learn from each other. Your skill in doing that enabled us to grow and benefit from all the different experiences of each group member. Your caring for each of us individually, your leadership, your humor, your intellect, and most importantly, your spirituality have been everything we can expect from a pastor. We love you and Maria, and as you move on to Rossmore and continue your ministry, our thoughts and prayers will remain with you. We thank God that you have been with us as a source of inspiration and strength on this challenging part of our spiritual journey. Thanks again, and blessings to both you and Maria.
My name is Jean Crane. I'm honored to be asked by the Spiritual Gardeners to give our heartfelt tribute to Pastor Dan. We are a small group, the Spiritual Gardeners, 7 women and Dan. Pastor Dan is truly a miraculous being. He combines a profound spiritual knowledge, theological knowledge. He combines that with a poetic soul. From the very beginning, he nourished and cared for us. I remember a few months before the actual ceremony, Dan and Maria cooked this dinner for us. We sat around these big tables in the fireside room, and we got to know each other. We are really going to miss him, and we wish him well as he goes forward in his new career.
Hi, Dan and Maria. It's an honor to be able to contribute to the celebration of your time here with us at San Ramon Valley United Methodist. The singular element that sticks with me from your tenure here, Dan, is passion. From the energy that you invested in starting small groups to the enthusiasm with which you championed our church joining the Reconciling Ministries Network, you invested your whole heart. As chair of church council during the RMN voting process, I can attest to the fact that your energetic support of that effort was invaluable. You leave us with a lasting symbol of open hearts that we must continue to nurture. Your willingness to take a chance, to maybe sound slightly irreverent, to entertain a unique perspective, brought a breath of fresh air to some of our more staid attitudes. You're not afraid to interject some humor or put forth provocative ideas and see where they might take us in pursuit of our faith and our community. You gave so many of us permission to think and engage in new and challenging ways that ended up being transformative. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I know the hearts of so many others, for being passionate, irreverent, provocative, and for being yourself. We love you and wish you all the best.
Maria, this song from West Side Story immediately came to mind as I started to prepare this video for you. It's your beautiful and warm smile, friendly disposition, gorgeous brunette hair, and of course, the name that made the connection. Oh, Maria, it seems like it was just yesterday when we welcomed you and Dan to our SRB family, and now it's time to say goodbye, only 2 years later. I am sad. We're all sad to say goodbye. In fact, I have boycotted every farewell celebration for all our previous pastors. Because growing up a PK in the itinerant United Methodist Church, I always dreaded going to these things and attended begrudgingly with my family. But I wanted to do this for you, Maria. Maria, I know what it's like being assigned to a new church. I think it's kind of like online dating. At least the process seems similar. First, you have the courtship period. District superintendent and bishop search for potential matches and check off all the compatibility boxes. Then you have the first date or meeting with the pastor parish committee. Then you are introduced to the friends and family, or in this case, the congregation. Exciting, but very nerve-wracking. And then it's not until you learn to live together that you really know if you're truly compatible. And I have to say, it's been a great compatibility match with you and Dan here at San Ramon Valley. Maria, as roommates of the women's retreat, we found out that we were also compatible. You love and have a special gift of doing calligraphy. We have the same issues dealing with our full head of brunette hair. We both work full time and totally cherish our families, to name a few. I know your precious grandson Mason is one of your greatest life blessings. Maria, you have graciously accompanied Dan's pastoral calling here, and we are so grateful. You have carried yourself with grace. Well, except for the times you fractured your arm and your elbow. But all kidding aside, you have blessed us with your warmth, kindness, and compassion. You humbly and wholeheartedly embraced us, served alongside us, and I hope you felt our love and gratitude in return. We are all changed for the better, Maria, because it's your unique self that has filled us with joy. Dory shared this quote by Mother Teresa. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less because of that missing drop. Maria, you are that drop that was so needed to fill SRB's ocean with God's love and grace. As you and Dan move on to your next assignment at Tice Valley, Please remember how much you are loved and how much you will be missed here. Goodbye, my friend. Big hug. May the Lord continue to bless you, keep you, and give you peace.
Dan, well, this is it, man. It's time to say goodbye. They wanted me to give you a rousing send-off. Well, here it comes. Bam, 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 bam. Whoa. Well, Dan, this is a metaphor. It's for your explosive personality. You are a veritable tinderbox of ideas. We will miss you, Dan. You will be gone, but you will not be forgotten. Kids, don't try this at home. Closed course, professional driver. It's a good thing I had a hat. Hasta la vista, muchacho. Well, Dan, it's time to say goodbye. They told me to give you a rousing send-off. Well, buddy, here it comes. Whoa! 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 Wow. Well, that was fun. Dan, that was a metaphor for your personality. You have an explosive personality. Whew, forgot my lines. You're a veritable tinderbox of ideas. Dan, we will miss you, and you will not be forgotten. Kids, don't try this at home. Closed course. Professional driver. Good thing I had a hat. Hasta la vista, muchacho.
I've always felt that maybe the second most difficult job is being a pastor. And Sunday mornings are but a small part of the commitment. Given that a pastor is on call all the time, it amounts to a 7-day-a-week job. The number of meetings, many in the evening, along with unpredictable number of situations necessitating a pastor's comforting presence, is daunting. And yet we are blessed that Dan embraced the challenge, which brings me to maybe the most difficult job, that of being a pastor's wife. While we church members get to spend evenings and Christmas Eve and Easter, etc., with family, it isn't the same in a pastor's family. And how about when the conference calls and says you're moving on? For Dan, Maria has proven to be the rock-solid anchor. By virtue of being a blessing to her marriage, she became a blessing to our church. And now, in a challenging time of transition, she is once again embracing Dan as they step into still another unknown. We're not just losing a pastor, we're losing a wonderful example of marital commitment. And with that in mind, we have something for you, Maria. On the altar here, Maria, this is a living plant for you. Your friends and congregation send this gift. The life within it contains the wonderful memories we have shared with you. Your assignment, if you choose to accept it, is to keep it watered and alive. And now, Maria, let's watch a video dedicated to you by one of your many admirers.
Psst, Maria, I've got a song for you, but if you know who shows up, I'll have to change to a less personal number because this one is only for you. Maria, the most beautiful sound I ever heard. Maria, 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 all the beautiful sounds of the world in a single word. Maria, Maria, Maria. Maria, I just met a girl named Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me. Maria, I just met a... Oh, man, here comes Dan. Hold on a minute. So long, it's been good to know you. So long, it's been good to... Whew. Okay, he's gone. Maria, say it loud and there's music playing. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying Maria. The most beautiful sound I ever heard. I'm going to miss you both. Thank you for your friendship. You know, I'm saddened in a way that you are leaving, but I'm also joyful knowing that there are people waiting to welcome you, people who are going to find that their heart is filled with love just by knowing you two, filled with love just like mine has been. God bless you.
Dan, with so many in the congregation wanting to show love and best wishes for you, Bill Vambazai has something for you.
Hi, Pastor Dan. Hi, Maria. I have been given the special privilege of handing to you a scrapbook of memories this congregation is recalling from times spent with both of you. Looking at the size and content of this book, you two have made an amazing impact on the spiritual journeys of many in this congregation. Pastor Dan, thank you for your thoughtful and heartfelt sermons. Maria, thank you for your gracious and engaging personality. You two are really a lot of fun, and we surely have some great times to remember from these last 2 years. So, I guess it's time to hand over the memory book through the magic of video. Bless you both with continued good health and some special time together to review this memory book to see how much you've meant to this congregation. So, here it comes. Get ready to catch.
Hold up. Very good.
Have a great life together. Bless you.
And the gifts just keep on coming. Dan and Marie, you've been such a big part of our lives for 2 years. And as we will carry you in our hearts going forward, we want to leave a bit of our hearts with you. Dan, your friends and congregation wish to show their appreciation of you and your 2 years with us. And that is the yellow envelope up here for you. And what would a Methodist celebration be without food? Lunch is provided for you at your convenience from the church, an act of kindness lovingly prepared by Priscilla Wolfram. There's something sweet on the altar for you too. My travel partner said we should always begin a journey with something sweet on the tongue. So we have a carrot cake for you. And now, Pastor Kim has a couple comments.
What an amazing expression of thanks and appreciation and love for Pastor Dan and Maria. First, a shout out of thanks for all who made this event possible. So much time and energy and affection went into crafting this event. Thank you to all, especially Holly Ann Melton, who chaired this committee, and to Linda and John Green, who spent many hours recording and staging this event. And now, I want to add my thanks to Maria and Dan. A thank you for all that you have given to this community. Seems to me, Maria, there's a lot of songs about Maria, and I'm going to paraphrase the one from Roger and Hammerstein in The Sound of Music. How do you find a word that describes Maria? Truth is, there is not just one word to describe you. Your gracious warmth, your kindness, your awareness of others, and your welcoming spirit is a blessing to this community and to me personally. During your time here, we got to hear the joy in your voice when you announced that Leah was pregnant, and we celebrated with you when grandson Mason arrived. During your time here, you injured one elbow and then a wrist, and you gave us the opportunity to express our care for you, and care we do, and we always will. When pastors are appointed to new communities, it's not always easy on the spouses. Changes, of course, bring new experiences and opportunities, and they mean also saying goodbye and moving into the unknown. These times are not easy for pastors' spouses, and I want to acknowledge that. May you, Maria, feel held in our prayers and love as you go forward, because our prayers and love will go with you. Dan, thank you for being a unique and gifted colleague. You added distinct joy, warmth, wit, insight to so many moments in our ministry together. I'm grateful for the collegiality we did share, the Sunday afternoon conversations, those conversations that can only happen between pastors. I value your companionship on the journey. I will miss our interactions at clergy circuit meetings, and I cherish the time we had at the Academy for Spiritual Formation. As others have mentioned, thank you for being part of the leadership team that explored what it would mean to be a reconciling congregation and for helping us live into that. Thank you for the devotion and care you brought to leading 2 of our small groups. Thank you for the memorial services you led and for the way you tenderly cared for those walking the road of grief. You have touched and enriched this community in countless ways. And yet, in this time, we've tried to at least note some of our favorites. I hope you carry with you the appreciation, laughter, and love that was spoken of here today. Today, and in all the days to come, we will continue to celebrate the gifts and graces you brought to this community. And now, Maria and then Dan, we invite you to speak and be part of this event.
Can you hand me my rock? Hi. You know, when we were told 4 months ago that we were going to be moving, it seemed so far away. And it didn't really feel like that it would really happen. And then COVID came along, and I couldn't even spend those 4 months with you guys. So I'm going to just limit my conversation and my thanks for everyone to a little gift that I have for you. I don't know if you can see it, but one of the things that I like to do is crafts, and rock painting has, in the last couple of years, kind of come to the fore. And in Livermore, and I don't know about here out in Danville, but in Livermore we have a little, I don't know what you would call it, kind of a thing where we'll paint rocks and leave them all around the town, and nobody knows who did them. And if you like them, you can pick it up and you can leave another one. And they're just supposed to be messages of inspiration and love and togetherness. And so when I was painting rocks, I thought, wow, I wish I could leave one for San Ramon Valley. So I decided to do that. And in thinking about what rock to paint, I kind of wanted to celebrate what was one of the major impacts or events that happened while we were here, and one that I'm so proud of, and that is becoming a reconciling congregation. So this rock, it spells out love with garden flowers. The flower is representative of a rainbow for the reconciling congregation. And then the daisy comes out and sits next to a bird, and underneath it, it says, the flowers spell out love, and then underneath it, it says one another. This is our 3rd time leaving the church. Doesn't get any easier. not even with the short term that it was. I'm amazed at how hard it is to leave. So one of the things that I like to do is think about everyone here loving one another and continuing in a very positive, God-like, loving way. So I will give this rock to Holly Ann, and she can put it wherever she'd like. But maybe when you think of it, I'm leaving a little piece of me here. Just know that I was proud to be a part of this congregation. I'll miss it. And I hope that you continue to love one another in the beautiful ways that you do. Thank you for everything. And Mr. Green, I love you.
I find myself, it's not that I have no words, it's that I really don't know where to begin. So I will just jump in. This has been the longest 2 years. And by that I mean, so much has happened, and it's gone by quickly, but at the same time, as I look back on the arc of all that's happened here, it's remarkable. It's remarkable, and you are a remarkable congregation, and I'm very pleased to be going to Tice Valley, and I grieve that I'm not going to be able to get to know you all better, because what a great group, and I have learned so much from you all. Many of you all have said, such nice things about me. I feel like you all have made so much of my ministry possible. If I am warm, it's because I have warm feelings towards you. If I'm smart, it's because I have smart people to talk to. I feel like so much was made possible by you all. And you all are very gifted people. And so because of that, much is expected of you. You are God's children. You are God's uniquely talented, capable children. And so I expect you all to continue all the good work that you're now doing and to do even more. And I know you'll do that. I want to thank, I can't possibly thank everybody that needs to be thanked. I do definitely want to thank Linda Green, just for many, 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 many things. And she's been a good friend and a wonderful ministry partner. And I'm very excited for you all that you're going to get Mantu Joshi. He's an amazing man. And I'm really excited to see what his ministry does with you all. And I'm going to be watching. You all need to treat him well. You all need to welcome him as you welcomed me. And if you do that, you will get the best of him, as at least I've tried to give the best of me. And finally, what a gift you have in Kim Reisdorf. 105 pounds of pure dynamite. And
You're never supposed to tell him.
well, I don't know that that's her weight. I have no idea. Anyway, her leadership, her energy, her vision, these are things that do not come along very often. And she is capable of working very, very hard. And she has certainly done that. It is a sign of her dedication to you. So you all need to look after her. Make sure she's taking care of herself. Kim is capable of giving a tremendous amount, more than she probably should, for her own health and well-being. Just look after her and cherish what you've got. And this church is going to go far. Lastly, I'm really just sick about the fact that we found out about this move months ago, and basically ever since then, I've been separated from you. And though I've seen many of you on Zoom, and that's wonderful, it's just not the same. And I feel a little cheated, I guess. But our paths will cross again. Thank you, San Ramon Valley United Methodist Church.
So Dan and Maria, here we are. And it is a bittersweet moment. but how fortunate we are that your faith journey intersected with ours for 2 years. Dan, you have served us well. And the fact that you have endeared yourself to so many speaks to the strength of your ministry. And Maria, we do recognize that you have been the stabilizing influence that leads to Dan's effectiveness as a minister. Dan, there is a bright light heading towards Tice Valley Methodist. How fitting that the Rossmore Church will soon know the gift of a loving, caring, passionate child of God. And while we likely won't be scouring the internet looking for episode 1678 of The Bold and the Beautiful, we will hold you and Maria in our hearts. God bless you, Pastor Dan. And God bless you, Maria. Many contributed to producing this farewell. In fact, hundreds offered to be on the farewell committee. I wasn't sure, was this a good thing? Many wanting to celebrate Dan? Or were many anxious to make sure that the everywhere man was really on his way out of town? Special thanks to each member of the farewell committee for Dan and Maria. Kim will now end with a closing prayer. Thank you.
Join me now in a moment of prayer. Sisters and brothers in Christ, Jesus, the Christ presence, empowered us to preach the good news to the ends of the earth. Today we send Pastor Dan and Maria to share the good news, the gospel, in many ways, in new places and in new ways. May God's Holy Spirit continue to nourish them with the living word as they continue to embody your love, your care, and your compassion in this world. Gracious God, you have given us the gift of Dan and Maria. We will hold them forever in our hearts and prayers. So many memories will make us think of them, be grateful for them, and smile. Some memories will be tender, and our hearts will always miss them. Comfort us all during this time. Holy One, you will be with Dan and Maria each step of the way, sending angels to lead them to the places where they can do the most good as followers of the way of Christ Jesus. Amen.